I came home early to surprise my fiancée. Instead, I found her in bed, with him. He jumped out in boxers and ran. No pants. No shoes. Just panic. I chased him in my car while he escaped on an electric bike. Caught him at the intersection. One hit. Blood everywhere. She screamed. I never looked back. I didn't plan to catch her. I planned to surprise her. It was Friday, a clear, windless morning. I traded my shift the night before so I could spend the whole day with Laura. We'd been together for almost 3 years. Engaged for 6 months. The wedding was booked for September, and I thought things were going great. We weren't rich, but we were stable. I was working long shifts in construction management, and she worked from home, trying to grow her art business. Her parents were helping her out financially while she built her portfolio. I pulled into the neighborhood just after 8 a.m., parking 2 houses down so she wouldn't see me through the front window. I'd picked up her favorite croissants, a latte with that weird syrup she liked, and 2 tickets to a concert she'd once mentioned offhand. Just wanted to do something spontaneous. Something sweet. Her car was already in the driveway, which I expected. What I didn't expect was the curtains drawn. They were usually open by now, especially if she was working. I figured maybe she had a headache, or was still sleeping. Quiet morning. No music. No sounds of the shower. No laptop hum. I unlocked the door with my key and stepped in quietly, still smiling. It was warm inside, but something felt still. Too still. Then I noticed the glass on the counter, half full with red wine. At 8 in the morning? That alone wasn't insane. But then I saw the jacket on the back of the chair. Not mine. Different size. Different brand. Looked newer, more fitted. I froze. I didn't call out. My feet moved toward the hallway. The bedroom door was halfway open. I reached for the doorknob. I didn't touch it. Just stood there. Something shifted inside. A voice. A breath. Then the sheets moved. First her leg. Then another leg. His. They hadn't even locked the door. There they were, tangled up, limbs half exposed under the blanket, skin sticking to skin, still too close. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I backed away 1 step, like my body knew it had to act before my brain caught up. And then, all at once, they saw me. The guy jumped like he'd been electrocuted. His head snapped up, eyes wide, pupils blown. He looked around for clothes, but found nothing. He grabbed the blanket, fumbled, stumbled out of bed in nothing but his boxers. Laura screamed something, probably my name, but it blurred out. The guy sprinted past me, bare feet slapping against the hardwood. No shoes. No shirt. No clue. He didn't even grab his phone. I chased him. Out the front door, across the tiny lawn, down the driveway. That's when I saw the electric bike. It was leaning on the neighbor's fence, still buzzing faintly. The guy jumped on without hesitation and hit the throttle. The motor whined to life, and the thing zipped forward. I didn't even think. I ran back to my car, nearly dropping my keys, jammed them into the ignition, and reversed so hard I almost clipped the mailbox. Then I floored it. It wasn't some dramatic Hollywood chase. It was messier, sloppier, him weaving between parked cars and side streets, trying to gain distance. Me, swerving around corners, windshield wipers clicking on out of pure muscle memory, even though it wasn't raining. I followed him through 2 residential blocks, past a park, and into a stretch of road that led toward the main intersection downtown. It was bizarre. I was chasing a nearly naked man on a bike through suburbia like some deranged reality TV scene. Part of me wanted to pull over and scream. Part of me wanted answers. All of me wanted to catch him. He cut through a narrow bike path behind the grocery store. I had to swing the car around the long way to meet him at the next street. But I timed it right. As he exited onto the intersection, he saw me coming and panicked. He tried to dodge across traffic. Bad move. His bike clipped the edge of a turning car. He flew forward and landed hard, tumbling across the pavement like a rag doll. I slammed the brakes. He groaned on the ground, clutching his side. One of his knees was scraped open. Blood pooled around his face. People were yelling now. Someone honked. A woman pointed at me. Her mouth was moving, but I didn't hear anything. I got out of the car, walked over to him. He looked up, one eye already swelling. That's when I hit him. Just once. A straight punch to the mouth. His head snapped sideways. Blood spattered the concrete. He crumpled again and didn't move this time. Just lay there, groaning, stunned. A woman screamed, "I'm calling the police." I saw a phone in her hand. Another guy shouted something about calming down. I didn't wait. I turned back, walked to the car, got in, and drove off before anyone grabbed my license plate. Didn't look back. Not even once. Back at the house, I parked and stepped out. Laura was still in the street, holding a shirt that wasn't mine. She didn't say a word as I walked past her. Inside, the place smelled like perfume and wine. The croissants were still warm in the front seat of my car. I never brought them in. That night, every time I closed my eyes, I saw that guy's face, stunned and gasping. Not because I pitied him, but because he looked just as betrayed as I felt. I kept replaying the crash, the blood, the punch, and the silence after. No sirens. No knock on the door. No call from the cops. Just silence. By noon the next day, I still hadn't heard anything. I kept checking out the window like I expected a patrol car to pull up. But nothing came. Instead, I got a text. Unknown number. No name. Just, can we talk? Not mad. Just confused. I stared at it for a minute. Then I replied with a time and a location. Public. Neutral. A cafe near the hospital. He walked in late, limping slightly, with a bruise swelling under his eye and a thin white bandage on his chin. No cops. No lawyer. Just him. He looked younger than I'd realized. Maybe 23 or 24. Sat down like he'd been called to the principal's office. I didn't say a word. Just waited. He broke the silence first. Said he wasn't going to press charges. Said he didn't blame me. Said if the roles were reversed, maybe he would have done the same. Then he told me something that flipped everything again. He didn't know. He didn't know she was engaged. He didn't know she had a boyfriend. She told him she lived alone. They met at some art exhibit a few weeks ago. She'd mentioned a complicated ex. That was me, apparently. She never told him she was with anyone. He didn't even know my name until the hospital nurse showed him a form that said Fiancée's emergency contact. He looked embarrassed. Not scared. Not angry. Just caught in a lie he didn't even realize he'd been part of. I asked him why he didn't run to the police. He shrugged. Said he figured I wasn't a threat to anyone else. Just a guy who got screwed over and snapped. And then he apologized. Genuinely. Said he didn't want any part in wrecking someone's life. He just liked her. Said she was charming, smart, talented. He had no idea she was lying. We sat there in silence for a bit. Then he got up, said he hoped I was okay, and limped out of the cafe. Didn't ask for anything. Didn't threaten anything. Just left. I watched him go, feeling the weight shift. That was when it stopped being about him. The real betrayal wasn't his. It was hers. She cheated. Lied. Gaslit. Let me believe we had something solid. Let me build a future on a foundation she'd already set on fire. And worse, she thought she could get away with it. She didn't know I'd spoken to him. She didn't know what he'd told me. But I knew something she didn't. Her parents. They still thought she was perfect. Still paid her rent. Still covered her phone bill. Still funded her tiny studio space where she painted sunflowers and posted them on Etsy. She called it building her dream. But it was their money. They were decent people. Traditional. Religious. Her father ran a local law office. Her mother volunteered with church charities. They went to mass twice a week. They took me in like a son the second I proposed. They didn't know what she'd done. Yet, I didn't make a plan right away. I didn't need one. Truth was enough. I waited a day. Then I picked up my phone and called her father. Asked to meet. Said it was serious. We met at a diner. He brought her mother. I told them everything. I showed them the time-stamped photos of the guy's bike parked outside. The ER log with her name and mine listed. The text exchanges I pulled from her phone before I left. The ones where she told her friend she was seeing someone new, and how she'd figure out how to let Nick down later. Her mother went pale. Her father just stared at the phone in my hand for a long time, not saying a word. I didn't embellish. Didn't dramatize. Just laid out what happened, what I saw, what the guy told me. Her mom finally asked, in a quiet voice, if the guy knew she was engaged. I said no. He was just as blindsided as I was. They didn't cry. They didn't scream. Her dad thanked me for being honest. We parted ways in silence. Later that night, I heard from a mutual friend that Laura's world had caved in. Her parents had called her, demanded the truth. She tried to spin it, blamed me, claimed I was controlling, said I was paranoid. But the other guy backed up everything I said, confirmed he thought she was single, told them she'd been lying from day one. That was all it took. They cut her off. Completely. They stopped paying her rent, canceled the lease on her studio, shut down the credit card they let her use for groceries and art supplies, blocked her from the family phone plan, told her to grow up and take responsibility. Until then, no contact. She tried calling me. Twice. I didn't answer. She texted once. I deleted it without opening. I didn't need closure. I already had it. Her entire life had been propped up by lies. And now, she had to learn how to stand without them. Laura didn't crash immediately. It was slower, like watching a sandcastle dissolve under a rising tide. I didn't track her fall. I didn't stalk her social media or ask around. But news got to me anyway. We had enough mutual acquaintances, and once the story got out, once her own parents confirmed what happened, people started keeping their distance from her, especially the ones who had once admired her independence. Turns out, she wasn't independent at all. Her rent was due 10 days after they cut her off. She had no savings. Her Etsy income was barely enough to cover Wi-Fi, let alone rent in a city like ours. The landlord gave her one grace period. After that, eviction proceedings started. The studio space downtown? Gone. Her dad had been paying for it under his name. Lease was terminated the moment his legal assistant filed the paperwork. She tried to freelance, offered custom illustrations, digital commissions, printables. But it wasn't enough. Too many $5 gigs, too few real clients. And with her reputation quietly crumbling, the sympathy commissions dried up fast. Then came the job search. She'd never worked a retail shift, never done food service. Her resume was a patchwork of vague art director roles she invented for her portfolio. Every interview she landed turned into a polite rejection. Most didn't even follow up. She ended up where people go when they've got no experience, no contacts, and no backup. A chain bakery in the strip mall near the highway. Minimum wage. Entry level. 4 a.m. start times. Burnt fingers. Flour in her hair. Steel-toe shoes and a hairnet. She hated every second of it. And everyone knew it. Someone who worked with her DM'd me after 2 weeks. Said she spent most of her shifts looking half asleep, snapping at customers, messing up orders, and staring at her phone during breaks like she was waiting for someone to save her. Said she'd been crying in the storage room after a customer asked why someone, like her, was working there. But there was no one left to save her. Her parents didn't speak to her. Her brother refused to send money. Even her online friends, those who once reposted her art and cheered her on, had gone quiet. A few blocked her outright when the story spread. She wasn't just broke. She was radioactive. And the best part? I never had to lift a finger. No public shaming. No revenge posts. No viral exposure. Just truth. Delivered to the right people at the right time. And gravity did the rest. She was left with a mattress on the floor of a shared apartment with 2 strangers she met online. A chipped phone screen. A pile of unpaid credit card bills. And a job she hated, clocking in while the city was still asleep. Somewhere in the back of her mind, she might have thought I'd come back. That I'd forgive. That maybe, after things settled, we'd talk. But I didn't. Because what was there to talk about? She gambled everything on a lie, and lost. I had nothing left to prove. Her punishment wasn't my anger. It was her own life without shortcuts. Without masks. Without backup. Just reality, biting down, and not letting go. I didn't tell anyone everything. Only her parents. I wasn't interested in humiliating her publicly or going online to air it out. This wasn't about vengeance or drama. It was about truth. Quiet, clean, and irreversible. And it worked. She tried reaching out a second time. Some vague message about wanting to explain and talk like adults. But there was nothing left to explain. What could she say? That it was a moment of weakness? That she didn't think I'd find out? That she was going to break it off eventually? She didn't want to explain. She wanted to escape the consequences. I never replied. And I never blocked her either. I wanted her to see that her messages were being delivered. That I saw them. And that I chose silence. I heard she eventually tried to patch things up with her parents, too. Told them it was just a mistake. Claimed she was overwhelmed. Said I had been distant. Cold. That I made her feel unwanted. She painted herself as a victim. But the guy she cheated with, he ruined that narrative. He was honest. When her parents called him, he told the truth. That he didn't even know she was taken. That she had pursued him. That she'd said she lived alone. That call sealed it. Her father told her, in front of a relative at Sunday lunch, that she had disgraced the family. That she had chosen her path. And that if she wanted help, she could get it from the people she lied to. She packed up her studio the next morning. It wasn't even hers, technically. Her dad's name was still on the lease. A property manager showed up and gave her 20 minutes to remove what she could. She left half her canvases behind. When her lease at the apartment lapsed, she tried to stay with a college friend, but only lasted 3 days before she got asked to leave. Too many complaints. Too much self-pity. No contribution. She ended up renting a room in a basement apartment on the outskirts of the city. No windows. No kitchen. Shared bathroom. A guy I used to work with spotted her walking home from her bakery job one morning, wearing a faded uniform shirt and knockoff sneakers with holes in them. She didn't see him. I didn't feel joy when I heard that. I didn't feel much of anything. But I remembered what she'd said once during an argument, months before this all happened. She'd rolled her eyes and muttered something like, "You'd never survive without me." Funny how people say things like that when they're the ones dangling over the edge. I still lived in the same apartment. Same job. Same friends. But everything felt different now. Lighter. Like a room after you've opened the windows and let the stale air out. I cleaned out our place the day after I told her parents everything. Packed up the engagement ring, the framed photos, the drawings she made me. Dropped it all into a storage bin. Didn't burn it. Didn't smash it. Just closed the lid and never opened it again. I wasn't bitter. Just finished. The guy she cheated with eventually reached out again. Just one message. Said he hoped I was doing all right. That he was sorry I got dragged into it. Said he was done with her too. That she kept trying to reach out even after everything. I didn't reply. Let him figure it out. Maybe he already had. Sometimes I wondered what she thought when she looked at herself in the mirror at 4:30 a.m. in that dusty basement, tying back her hair before a bakery shift she used to joke about when she passed places like that in the car. I wondered if she still thought she could do better than me. I wondered if she still believed she deserved more. She didn't fall apart because I punished her. She fell apart because the world she built was made of illusions, and the second one thread was pulled, the whole thing collapsed in on itself. The lie didn't survive the daylight, and she didn't survive the truth. But I did. I walked away, and I never looked back. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day, and trust me, tomorrow's story, it's even worse than this one.